86. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, those of you who are watching later. Welcome to our morning heart devotion. We're going to start with about, as always. So let us. Okay. All right, let us offer a bow to our heavenly parents and true parents. 전지인 천부모님께 경배. 서로. Right. Family pledge number 1. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges to seek our original homeland and build the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven, the original idea of creation, by centering on true love. 2. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges to represent and become central to heaven and earth by attending the heavenly parent and true parents. We pledge to perfect the beautiful family way of filial sons in our family, patriots in our nation, saints in the world, and divine sons and daughters in heaven and on earth by centering on true love. 3. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges to perfect the 4 great whims of heart, the 3 great kingships, and the realm of the royal family by centering on true love. 4. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges to build the universal family encompassing heaven and earth, which is the heavenly parent ideal of creation, and perfect the world of freedom, peace, unity, and happiness by centering on true love. 5. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges to strive every day to advance the unification of the spirit world and the physical world as subject and object partners by centering on true love. 6. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges to become a family that moves heavenly fortune by embodying the heavenly parent and true parents, and to perfect a family that conveys heaven's blessing to our community by centering on true love. 7. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges through living for the sake of others to perfect the world based on the culture of heart, which is rooted in the original lineage by centering on true love. 8. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges having entered the era of Cheon to achieve the ideal of God and human beings, united in love through absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and to perfect the realm of liberation and complete freedom in the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven by centering on true love. All right, thank you so much for reading along. And for our opening prayer today, actually, please join me in prayer. Dear beloved Heavenly Parent to parents, thank you so much for this morning that you are allowing us to wake up and really be able to come together as a family, as a community, to be able to start our morning heart devotion. Heavenly Parent, we want to pour out our heart to you every single day that we're waking up, because you're giving us this chance. We really want to try our best to become better, to become stronger, and to really become the true sons and daughters that you have longed for since the beginning of time. So we want to thank you for being patient with us. We want to thank you for really continuing to protect us, to bless us, to love us. Even with our shortcomings, you're still there, and you're still really protecting us as your children. And so for that, we're truly thankful and grateful for that. So as we read this morning, every single morning, we want to be able to understand our mother's heart better. Heavenly Parent, as the only begotten daughter, you have sent her so that she can be able to really help us understand your motherly heart, Heavenly Parent. And so as we read her words every single day, we will hope that we can not just take it in the morning, but really be able to digest it every single day throughout the day and think about how we can truly support our true mother, Heavenly Parent, how we can really move the providence forward together with her, so that we are not just dismissing her words or like just trying to understand her words by our logically, but really artistically try our best to really be able to practice it and understand it with our hearts, Heavenly Parent. So we thank you again for this opportunity and this time that you are allowing us to have every single morning to read Mother's words. We are so grateful that we are able to be in such a precious time in history, Heavenly Parent. We know that years from now and decades from now, we really are going to look back in our next generations to come. We will really, everything that we do right now will depend on that, Heavenly Parent. And what kind of world that we live in will depend on what we do right now. So please let us understand how precious this time is. Please let us understand how precious our true mother is and really be able to continue to support her. So we offer this up to you, and I pray in my name, Diane and Ilehak Wisam Chukapo Achu. All right, thank you so much. So now we're gonna go into our breakout and share our gratitudes for the morning. I believe the breakouts are open already.
That was abrupt. It accidentally put her into the breakout room right away. So yes, it's breakout time. So 7 minutes, and we'll meet you back in the main room. If you're on YouTube, please share with somebody that is nearby or your friend.
right. Thank you everyone for sharing. Yeah, my breakout was great. It was really nice sharings. I really loved it. So for our first sharing, I want to invite to Rhonda Schmidt to share her gratitude. Oh, you're muted.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I was just sharing that yesterday I couldn't connect and I couldn't get on YouTube yesterday. So I did the reading on my own, and then I picked up the Bible and I tried to open it to a New Testament book, and I opened it to Revelation. And it was a long time since I had read Revelation. And I didn't read the whole thing, but the chapters that I read were that over and over the battles between good and evil. And I felt like the descriptions and such were very much like these present days, very, very much the struggles between good and evil, and the hardships that everybody's going through. And I felt like I could envision these struggles of humanity as the crashing waves on the surface of the ocean, but that underneath that is the calm of the ocean, and the depth of the ocean is much, much greater than the surface. And that's where God's peace is found, and that's where we can find a sanctuary for peace and hope that this calm will eventually take over that craziness that's going on today, and we'll find peace in God and Chanil Guk. So yeah, and then I was very grateful for health. And after Pastor Diane spoke, I'm so grateful for Pastor Diane, Pastor Ilya being here with us, so coming soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rhonda, for sharing. Yeah. I always love the book of Revelation. I don't know why, but some reason I just feel like, although it's kind of, when I read it for the first time, I was like, what? This is too much. But it's a really good, I recommend reading the Bible. I always think it's so great to relate to that, because our True Parents Foundation is all there, right? It comes from there. Our true father, how I met Jesus and everything. So, yeah, so for our next sharing, actually, I wanted to share something that I shared in my breakout, was the fact that how we were moving. So anyways, my conclusion was that God works, or we feel God the most when we struggle. And I'm grateful for those moments, because in those moments, that's where we can be able to find God. So I was sharing my breakout, like we're supposed to move at the end of this week, right? We're moving to Atlanta. And there were so many things that were happening. You can feel that there's kind of like a barrier that's stopping us from going there. Throughout the whole week, there were things that were happening that are just so mysterious and so bad. And it made us so mad. We're like, why are these things happening? Like, out of all the, like, it never happened before, and then now it's happening. So in my heart, I was feeling very so like challenged. I'm like, if God, you want us to go there, why are you making all these things happen? Like, why are there so many barriers, so many things that are going wrong? And for the first time ever, I got a ticket for speeding. I'm like, what? All these things. So anyway, so all these things that were happening, and I had to kind of like stop. And as I was praying, I felt that if there are barriers, then the bad spirit world, they know what kind of good things comes out of God's providence. So they always try to put some kind of barrier for you not to like, bring those things into, I guess, into fruition. So in my heart, I felt, in every single kind of mission, of course, we ask ourselves, like, why is God doing this? Why is God sending me here? And that was our questions. It was like, why is God sending us all the way to Atlanta? And we finally, throughout those struggles, it was like, oh, there's a bigger purpose. There's a greater purpose beyond ourselves that we don't understand. And so I was just grateful for that moment, because I felt like, yes, it is true. Like through struggles, we always find God. And we always have those moments. It's not all the time, but it's such a special moment, because that's when you're finding God, right? At that moment. And so I guess it gave us even the courage to move to Atlanta, to be even bold to say to Satan, like, we are moving to Atlanta, whether you like it or not. So, so that was, I guess that was our struggle, but also at the same time, it feels like a victory, because we didn't budge, or we didn't try to like say, oh, we shouldn't go, or like, I mean, it's too late. It's not like we can say that, but we felt in our heart that God was there, that he was guiding us throughout even the struggles in those moments. So definitely, yeah, it was a good experience. So I thought of that when Anuranda brought up the revelation. I thought of like, the battles and all these things. So I was like, oh yeah, this is God. This is how we experience God, through those battles and struggles and tears and all that. So yes, victory is around the corner, as Mrs. Level said in the chat. All right. Thank you so much for sharing again, Rhonda Schmidt. And we're gonna go into our reading. Let me. I believe, sorry, yesterday I was in a different call, so I don't know what.
209.
Oh, 209, yes. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need you to share your screen, because I don't have it.
You need to make me co-host.
Got it. Trying to find it. Oh, okay. I think I got it. Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah. So let me share my screen.
On the bottom.
Okay. Wasn't at the bottom, right? Starting at the bottom.
Yes.
Okay. This page. Sorry, everyone. We just want to make this one. Okay. Got it. All right. So after, I believe that's where you ended. After our meetings with President Gorbachev and Chairman Kim, my husband and I mapped out our next steps. We envisioned a God Center organizations that would fill the vacuum about to be created and actually lead to peace in the world. With the tangible menace of militant communisms now fading, The reformation of religious faith and family-based morality was the next mountain to climb. It had taken more than 50 years to sweep international communism into the dustbin of history, but the decline of religion and family life is a subtler and therefore more pernicious threat. Religious leaders are tasked by God to guide people to live responsibly, but the influence of religion in modern times has been declining. Our challenge now became the restoration of religious faith as society's compass. Thus, we intensified our investment in bringing religious leaders to see beyond their denominational horizons and interreligious conflict and work together based upon universally shared God-centered values. These are the same absolute values around which we called scientists, media professionals, and political leaders to work. Healthy societies of all races, nations, and religions arise on the foundation of morality and ethics, which in turn arise on the foundation of the love of God between husband and wife, parents and children. This love of God in the family is the source of absolute values, and they are universally shared and taught by all religions. We inspired faith leaders to work together and teach these universally shared values. We actually have invested more of our movement's resources on this than on the growth of our church. Our vision, Our vision brought together religious leaders and government leaders, centered around a common purpose of peace and true freedom. Renowned people from all walks of life who empathized with our objectives became ambassadors for peace. Through the work of the Federation for World Peace and the Interreligious Federation for World Peace. Starting in 2001 in Korea, the activities of these peace ambassadors quickly spread throughout the world. Inspired by the vision, peace ambassadors in 160 countries are putting down roots of true peace through project work in a broad range of fields where, oh my God, what is happening here? Yeah, where there are disputes, where poverty hinders education, and where there is religious intolerance, where people lack sufficient medical care, peace ambassadors alleviate their pain and help them improve their lives. Then at New York City's Lincoln Center on September 12, 2005, we inaugurated an umbrella organization, the Universal Peace Federation, UPF. Following that event, my husband and I embarked upon a tour of 120 nations to meet ambassadors for peace and establish UPF national chapters. UPF brings together people and organizations across the world through programs supporting the realization of a world of genuine peace. The Universal Peace Federation is now an NGO in general constitutive status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council, also known as ECOSOC, where its representatives work with like-minded, peace-loving global citizens. And in the next session, of course, a United Nations Peace Garden. I did not learn to yield. I did not learn to kneel. These bold declarations are spoken in the epic Korean film, The Great Battle, by one of Korea's famous military heroes, Yang Mun-chun, Lord of Ansi Fortress. The 2018 film, seen by millions of people, depicted the true story of how Yang Mun-chun and the soldiers and people of the Ansi Fortress city held off the Tang Dynasty's army of 500,000 men for 88 days and 645, so 645. The Ansi Fortress was the final bulwark of the failing Goguryeo dynasty against the powerful and fearsome Chinese invaders. Yang Men-chun was not fully allied with Goguryeo General Yon Gonso-mun, But as Ansi Fortress commander, he invested everything to unite his people despite suffering hunger and death. They ultimately forced the Chinese to retreat and saved the fortress. This is just one of many stories about the brutal foreign invasions the Korea people have endured. We have been able to protect our beautiful mountains and rivers for millennia because of our patriotism and willingness to sacrifice. As true parents, Father Moon and I uphold the Korean Peninsula as the land where all civilizations will blossom and bear fruit. Nonetheless, the unfortunate 70-year history of division in Korea continues because the ideological barrier between democracy and communism still takes precedence over the love of family and clan. Parents, children, and siblings, both North and South, have had to live for decades without knowing whether their family members are alive or dead, even in the era of the internet. The line of lamentation that divides the Korean peninsula and separates blood relatives is a geographical line, but that is superficial. The real division is over worldviews and values. It is the fierce confrontation between atheism and theism over the question of whether or not God exists. Father Moon and I invested sincere devotion and great effort to end the Cold War and unify North and South Korea. Beginning in 1968, we spread the victory over communism fog. Lectures through Korea and around the world to reveal the falsehoods of communism. In the 1980s, our members developed VOC or ROC materials into the CAUSA manual and gave CAUSA lectures on campuses and conferences to students of all ages, pastors of all faiths, and social leaders in all fields. The newspapers we established globally, such as the Washington Times, provided accurate information about the tensions on the Korean Peninsula and the reality of life under communist governments. As I just described, in 1990, we provided the spiritual energy for President Gorbachev to continue on his path of reform, which led to the abandonment of communism as a structured global power. And our meeting with Chairman Kim Il-sung opened the gates of exchange for the sake of unification between North and South Korea. Since then, the UPF has expanded to more than 190 countries, serving as another foundation upon which the international community can cooperate in and benefit from the unification of the Korean Peninsula. Okay. And yet, it seems to me that the new generation of South Koreans do not understand how the Korean War arose and why unification of our people is necessary. Therefore, today, I am working even harder for this cause. This is one purpose of the Peace Road activism. As a culmination of the Peace Road events in 2015, writers in Korea cycled to the Imjigak pavilion located north of Seoul at the Imjin River, which divides the Koreas. From that site, they could see the demilitarized zone, the DMZ, in North Korea. The participants created a dramatic moment by singing in Korean the song "Our Cherished Hopes Are for Unity." All Koreans feel a deep gratitude to the United Nations. Were it not for the United Nations, the Republic of Korea would not exist. When the North Korean People's Army with Soviet backing invaded South Korea on the morning of June 25th, 1950, their ambition was to communize South Korea. They might have succeeded, as Korea, as a small, poor country whose name was hardly known to the wider world, but the United Nations swiftly called on its member nations to defend democracy on the Korean Peninsula, and 16 countries sent troops while others sent medical support. The UN forces fought hard, risking their lives in an unfamiliar land to protect freedom and peace. At that time, as I mentioned above, my husband was confined in a death camp, sentenced to hard labor at the Hungnam nitrogen fertilizer factory. He was freed soon after the UN forces landed at the port of Incheon in September 1950. They pushed their way up into the northern part of the peninsula as far as the city of Hungnam. The prison camp guards were killing all the prisoners, but the night prior to my husband's scheduled execution, the guards learned about the approaching UN forces and fled. Heaven surely was behind the UN Security Council's decision to send multinational force to turn back the communist invasion. The ultimate reason for the UN peacekeeping action was a hidden one, to save only the only begotten son and protect the only begotten daughter. In accordance with God's will, our lives were preserved. I'm sorry, just give me a second. I need to get a charger from my phone or from my laptop. Okay. So our lives were preserved. Why would God have protected our nation, the Korean people, in that historically difficult and troublesome crisis? The world was just recovering from World War II, and now it plunged into another torturous battle on a global scale. The fact that our national anthem includes the words, "May God protect and preserve our nation," points to the answer. It can be explained best in terms of God's providence. To complete the providence in 1943, God sent his only begotten daughter, the woman who could receive God's first love for the first time since the fall of Adam and Eve, to Korea. As do all people, this only begotten daughter, the woman who could receive God's first love for the first time, as do all people, this only begotten daughter had to grow to maturity. She needed time until she could recognize, understand, and accept her responsibility for the salvation of humankind. A child cannot simply go out and lead the providence. That is why God protected his only begotten daughter until she grew to the age when she could understand, or she could know in Heavenly Parent's mind, feel Heavenly Parent's heart, and determine with her own will to own Heavenly Parent's mission. God preserved the environment of religious freedom for the sake of the fulfillment of Jesus' final words in the Bible, "Surely I am coming soon." Jesus and the Holy Spirit called and led the only begotten Son and the only begotten daughter to complete the mission of the Messiah as the true parents of humankind. To protect this mission, heaven guided the UN forces to enter the war to defend freedom. The United Nations established its headquarters in New York City at the end of World War II. 70 years have passed since then, or have since passed. There are 3 other major UN offices in Geneva, Vienna, and Nairobi. But even though the world has entered the Asia-Pacific era, there is no major office. There's no major UN office in Asia. I have recommended that the UN open its 5th international office in Korea, especially in the DMZ on the 30th parallel. I am supporting various groups, including the UPF and the Citizens Federation for the Unification of North and South Korea, in the efforts to turn the DMZ into a global peace park. This will bring the issue of Korean unification to the attention of the world's people as no other action can. All the nations of Asia would be pleased to serve as the site of a new global UN headquarters, but I believe that Korea has unique qualifications. It houses the international headquarters of the Universal Peace Federation and of the International Association of Parliamentarians for Peace. Spiritually speaking, as the nation in which two parents were born, Korea has something very deep within its culture that can serve the world. Some 70 years ago, the UN forces shed blood and sweat for the sake of peace in Korea. By ending the division of the peninsula, the UN would complete the mission of those soldiers who gave their lives and inspire peace in the world. In his speech given at the United Nations headquarters in New York in 2000, my husband announced our vision of a peace park in the DMZ zone, or DMZ. 15 years later, in May of 2015, at the UN office in Vienna, Austria, I proposed that a 5th UN office be built there. The President of the Republic of Korea himself proposed to North Korea at the UN that a peace park be built in the DMZ. If North and South Korea invite the UN to build its 5th office in the DMZ, it will, by that very act alone, turn a theater of war, where so many on both sides of the conflict shed their blood, into a Mecca of peace. So we're gonna stop there for this reading, and then tomorrow we stop at 2:16. So putting peace into practice. So let us go into our breakout. I mean, as we can see, this has always been Mother's dream, right? I mean, creating this peace park where we can really bring North and South Korea together. And I think even now, you know, it's still on Mother's mind to really bring North and South Korea together so that it can blossom even more as one country. So with that, let us go into a breakout for 7 minutes and share with one another, and we'll see you back in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope your sharing is very great. For our first sharing, I'd like to invite Mrs. Lebel, if you can share your reflection for today. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. I was sharing about how I feel like the unity of North and South Korea hinges on the acceptance of other nations, of our true parents. And True Father saw that. That's why in 2005, he established UPF so that the politicians and the leaders of nations can accept true parents and bring that knowledge to their nations. Because at the time of the division of North and South Korea, only 16 nations were in the forefront. So the world was still more divided and also bigger, or less countries were doing evil, let's put it that way. But now the League of Nations, those 16 nations ended up becoming United Nations. And today United Nations has like 205 nations. So you have the Messiah being on earth and people studying the divine principle, which should bring in goodness. But there are other nations that are still doing evil. There are other nations that are still perpetuating wars, even when the Messiah came to bring peace. The Bible talks about Jesus being the Prince of Peace, and we know that true parents are bringing peace and restoring mankind back to God's bosom. So I feel like UPF has a major mission in that they need to bring politicians into God's fold, and then those politicians can then bring their nations, and those nations can support the unity of North and South Korea. Because as it stands right now, North Korea is mighty militarily, and that's all they have going for them. But South Korea has technology and everything else. So these two nations, if they were to unite today, they would literally be the new superpower. There are people who don't want that. They are not going to say they don't want that. All they're going to do is to continue to cause problems so that that doesn't happen. Because for as long as there's division between communism and capitalism, there'll be people who are for North Korea and people who are for South Korea. And if the two factions don't unite, then we don't have a united North and South Korea. So we have to work hard to make UPF accountable, and UPF has to make its member states accountable. Thank you.
Drew. Wow, Mrs. Level on fire today. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's exactly the point, right? I feel like, that unity is actually North and South Korea, like you said, they need each other. Absolutely right. Because even, looking at South Korea, again, yes, with the technology and everything that it has, if it united with, with North Korea that doesn't have that, then the two countries can really support each other. Actually, even financially, I think maybe South Korea could benefit from that too. So definitely, it's definitely those two countries, they need each other. But of course, like I said, like this morning, I feel like those are the barriers, but we have to go past that and really be able to support Mother in this mission of bringing, North and South Korea together. So I feel that somehow, as the eldest nation, that's our mission. We have to unite the mother nation as the eldest son. So yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now for our next sharing, can we have Asako-san? Can you please share your reflection?
Yeah, myself visit Korea. When visit Korea, I was there DMZ, just on line, and both sides soldiers there, young American soldiers working there. That's first time I saw that the reality so terrible. Only one line to separate the people. And also true parents came from the Korea. When think of Jesus time, also people say he from Galleria, so such a countryside, what kind of people, the people looking down to the Jesus. So, but now true parents invite all the national leaders, invite Korea. Now let them know that the reality of Korea, also how important make unity North and South Korea. It's for the not only Korea, but for the world peace. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Aju. Thank you, Osako-san. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, with all of this, I really hope that, we can be able to support, our true parents with this mission. And I think, again, the key is for us as the eldest son to understand our parents' heart and understand that their countries are in trouble and that, we have to be there to support them. So I really hope that we can continue to also pray. I think even Asako-san, when you mentioned like the DMZ, even last time when we went there was a time where I think it was 2018 where all the next generation went, and then we were praying at the DMZ. You can just feel the heaviness, of the two. There's something there that spiritually people cannot feel and cannot see. But if we really go beyond that, I think for world peace, for the sake of world peace, everything will work out. So, but I have hope. I think all will be good and God will make it happen if we work together. So let's go into our song. I'm going to share this. Sorry, bear with me. Okay. Share my screen. We're gonna sing our song and then go right ahead with our 7-minute prayer. Okay. I hope I'm sharing this. Okay.
You do believe what that's the one.
Such a beautiful song. All right, let us go into our 7-minute prayer. It's already 7, so we'll pray until 7:07. Right, please feel free to unmute yourself as always to pray for this morning. Dear Heavenly Parent, true parents, thank you so much for this
네,
time.
주여 하늘 보는
allowing us to
선진 참판인
Morning, our beloved Heavenly Parents.
Heavenly parents,
We want to thank you so
and
much
true
for
parents,
morning devotion,
29
bringing us together, setting apart
he
word.
has to elevate
here
the
as a
idea
How we can
and
become
the
better
committee
children of your
together
giving us the
with the
strength and
work
peace
for the
guidance
and
examination.
the happiness
essence of Jesus,
which
Thank
is
you,
all
our
Heavenly
true
Parents,
parents.
the kind of
for
Yes, Father, that you taught us.
being
We thank you, Father, for the
not
wisdom,
diligent,
insightfulness,
the
Father,
supported
again
history,
to
restoration.
of the depth
But now
again
we have so many
across
so we
in
are
religions.
we are
Father, that
They
your
have
nation
become
Memoir.
families
that we have to
Father, remember
crosses that they have to
to
bear,
God
not of the
ready
high
God
cause
to
of
educate
darkness,
Father.
in parents.
taught your word,
We had to go
how
through
My God,
the human
the
history
one
goes
how
through.
the years
the relationship,
Many
of
parents
all
go
of
through
Father, the
give us a
such
let's
times
say the 21st
again
century.
that
Now in the
brings
11th age of
learn how
war,
important it is
the
to
peace and
dear
the
God, you
freedom,
are working
do your word,
the equal
created
today
prosperity.
by the Lord,
to read your word
our true parents.
others
And they're
Many
working
parents,
on the political level,
others
religious level,
studying
gives us
UPA,
wisdom
media level,
standard foundation
academic,
as a guide
to
the
be
nation,
educational.
a leader of
Through
nations.
all this, Father,
And
we
they
thank
come
you
together
for all
to
the
understand
parents
about
that
unity, harmony for the state.
came to
we
this
have
earth,
cannot be
Father,
the spiritual
How you're
heaven to
working on
build
us,
the
that
intellect.
is
showing
working
us our true
Has come
mother,
to be the
to
we
heart.
have, who are not just
If we
sons
have to
really
unite in the mind
families
and the body,
family.
you, Father,
the spiritual world and the physical world.
things
Is
that
the building block.
Also,
Family is the
parents
building
standard
that
block.
function, foundation, and the spiritual foundation.
sacrifices
Foundation
and
of
the
Many
Lord's
parents
place.
people who
every
know
in
the
moment
word,
high
time
society,
people who know
so many ways to
Especially
bring
upon the mother.
to the
A mother's love and
celestial world, the
sacrifice.
heavenly,
guide
fight
And the elders
the
for
be
true
for
mother.
young
us
children,
I love it.
the word.
Support the mothers in each and every
our
family.
Father distance
People are
First
not
of all,
the
mother
teaching us love of nation
let us
and the love of
strong
unity.
Father,
again
and following
be with us
as
It
a
something
is an
good
else
impossible
son,
battle.
a good
guide
child.
them
And the
Father
China
Father,
at the
to
time,
lead the realm of the
so many
Lord
teaching
soldiers
them Master
the
the
way.
true
come
family
to the
As
destroy this
Pastor
small
Aliyah and
guide them
so
Pastor
however
Father, Lord,
defeated
carrying their father
because
to
the
get
point
here
of unity
from where they are
parents
to where you
are
called
there.
them. Can't
Include the
even imagine
farmers
leading
and
the
entrepreneurs work together,
all fix
fight
them
people
we
love
live in a
the
time where
heaven,
there's
enemy.
no more time,
angels that are assigned
no more
The
time
heavenly
to
parents
about our own materialistic
pray
also
for
free
trust
them
God
but every single
guidance
day
I'm
and
so grateful to
oh,
to God
to
together
to think
ultimate
about
what of what we have
how we
is
can
the
improve
only
to
thing that
guide
you are
Thank you, Father, for the
given us
infinite
coming
all
through.
God,
oh,
Way
now
it's like that
this technology.
live in a
how
time
can we
So
show
grateful.
the world
Father,
show the world
those that go
a
through
medical
show the
list
world
the
that we have
impossible to
examination
impossible.
we have
Father,
something
all
It has to
life
be
together
asked,
and
that
but
together
you are
together to
elimination
pioneer,
for this
divine
accomplished.
pass
accomplishment.
back
unity
only
Omnipotent.
really truly
relationship
Now
of
we have
love,
completed
but you have
relationship of
gone
think
through
child,
Cheon Shim Won
So
prayer to bring a
raise
spiritual
grateful
now
in the Lord.
the world
nations
to
together,
the
world
on
of
the earth,
us
nations
not
together,
uniting
We
yet
to the
just
people's heart,
but you are the parent
and the change the
or
people's
participate
you do not
direction
want even one
ready
children
to
for the
God's side, the
unification of
heavenly
Northern
parents.
South
your will to be done, nothing will stop it.
Christians,
Even North
Thank
and
you,
South,
Father, for this
truly
day of
really want to
time. Father,
unite
the
to
warning,
sisters and
be able to
brothers,
save
the
continue
blessing
more
of
and
the
more
last
their
Passcode
heart
I
is
divine,
the
receive.
for all the
Would
unity
we
to
share
the
North Korea.
want to save your
Here in
children.
America,
It's an important issue.
history
People willing to
and
share
This
our lives
culture
take up
bring
the
by
spirit here.
wants to raise up
Historically, South
a
Korea
that
is
wants to
a
bring recognition in this time.
North Korea has
It
many
needs to
millions
change the time
to develop
so we can be able to
countries.
revive this world that we live in today. For the next
He said
years,
everything that
we can live in a world filled with
guidance and wisdom.
the unity
we can truly relate with people
Pray
vertically,
for the
so they can
unity
fulfill your heart and
problems that people's heart.
remember
Letting us share. That's the most
and
important
it's
thing.
not just us saying it. It's
Our
really
mission
beyond that.
is to teach
Beyond
us,
our own
to
thinking,
teach
beyond our own
we have to
materialistic life, or even our own family.
today as a community.
To truly
Take up the space.
purpose. I
and establish a foundation of love.
Many parents, I
Guide them
pray
guide
God
them
to
we can
intervene
bring
in the North and
in
South
the heart
education
to love
through the changing people's heart,
desire,
willingness
longing heart
meant
to offer themselves,
are meant
and the
to bring love,
willingness to help each other, and the practice. Jesus
the answer.
the submission
allow them hear each other.
We can be with them, is
interconnectivity.
able to shower us with love.
Many parents
Pray that you
are
be
being
with
watched
them and
And hurting you.
inspire them
for the heart to love God,
that they come back
Thank you.
humankind.
Work with
Many parents. Same to many
brothers and
ways.
sisters.
come into the
Depressed
lives. You can be
and
able
the
to guide us,
hopelessness
lead us.
because circumstances that we are facing now.
Bring so many of your
So,
children
Father, we
As
know
we share your word,
feeling its accomplishment. Put together,
share your love,
pray together,
teaching us all your words,
to hold it together.
teaching us to understand the
So
words,
we need a breakthrough.
to be with you.
continue guiding
It's a thunder of darkness to come to the end that we are going through the old and new world. Many parents, I pray for mothers' health and safety. The Lord, I thank you. I pray Central Blessed Family. Jackson Kyoko Bombardine. I offer
동길이오라 이 겨울살이 동길 이 나라 자는데 동길 동길이오소라 동길이오라. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for praying along with us together. We had a few announcements, but I think, yeah. Anyways, we're not prepared to share. I don't think we made a slide for it. But one thing to pray about is that actually Mama Coco she's going to Vegas today. As you know, we were preparing for a second gen actually to go, but she's going to camp. So anyway, so Mama Coco is the one that's going to Vegas right now with the workshop that we went to last time. I believe her flight, she's leaving around 7 something, so about right now. So please put her in your prayer as she's going there. And of course, later on, all of you will have the chance to go. So we're sending people one by one and by groups. And so just be prepared, next time you will have the chance to go as well. So yeah, so please pray for her safety as she's there, learning about, the providence that we're moving forward with, Mother's words like recently that she gave to Damien. Besides that, we have Parents' Day celebration coming up. We don't have the flyers yet, but I think the flyer will go out today, so you should be able to see it. It's going to be, I believe, July 15th. So anyways, we'll send more information today as we get all the things together. And yes, we are officially moving at the end of this week. So I'm not sure if we will make it by Sunday. We might not. So we might just give Sunday service again through Zoom. But by next week, we will be there in person. So we're very excited to see each and every single one of you. Yeah, it's really longing hard. It's been too long. We feel like, we really want to be there with you together. So we're excited to see all of you. So with that, I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, tomorrow we'll share more announcements. But for today, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Blessings, pastors.
Thank
To
you.
you.
God bless everybody.
God bless
Thank
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.